Good morning, students. Welcome to our online class. This is your second period, and the subject is political science. Students, today in this class, through recorded video, I am going to continue the chapter 4 from book 2. The chapter 4 is India's external relations, and the book 2 name is Politics in India since independence. Students, already you know we have started this chapter and 2 periods we have completed. Now today in this third period of this chapter again we will continue the same chapter and we will learn few more topics related to India's external relations. And our first topic today is the policy of non-alignment. This policy of non-alignment was adopted by India, and the chief architect of this policy was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So what is said here, the Indian national movement was not an isolated process. That means this Indian national movement which was started in India against the British rule, to end the British rule, it was not an isolated process. It was a part of the worldwide struggle against colonialism and imperialism. And that means our nationalist movement was not only meant for what independence of India, it was a struggle against colonialism and imperialism. That I told you, colonialism is what? Many European countries, they established their colonies in African continent and Asian continent and Latin American countries for raw materials, search for markets. Similarly, imperialism, I told you, whenever a strong and powerful country forcefully brings a small country, less powerful country under its control, after bringing control, if the powerful country will do economic exploitation, okay, on political conquest on that country, the small, less powerful country, that is called imperialism. And that I told you there are 6 factors that are responsible for what? Imperialism. Need for raw materials, search for markets, political factors, national pride, expanding population, search for employment, spread desire to spread Christianity. All these are some of the factors that led to imperialism. Okay. It influenced the liberation movement. Liberation means what? Freedom movement. Liberation movement of many Asian and African countries. Our Indian nationalist movement also helped many countries in getting independence from their colonial rule or against their colonial rule. Indian nationalist movement have helped many other African and Asian countries to get liberation from the foreign control or colonial control. Prior to India's independence, when our country didn't got independence at that time, there were contacts between what? The nationalist leaders of India and those of other countries. Before independence of India, our Indian nationalist leaders, they had contacts with other African and Asian countries. As you have seen, that Marshal Tito, Colonel Gamal Abdel Nasser, Sukarno, and Nkrumah. These are some other country people we had contacts. Next one. Similarly, united as they were in the common struggle, and at that time all leaders together, either Asian country, Asian continent country, African continent country, or Latin American countries, all together they fought together against their colonial masters. Okay. Now, we fought against colonialism and imperialism along with the other foreign rulers or other foreign countries, leaders. Okay, now the creation of Indian National Army. Yes, here comes that day we discussed this one. Originally, the idea of formation of Indian National Army, the idea was given by Mohan Singh, Captain Mohan Singh. Later, it was developed by our leader Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So here, what is said here, the creation of Indian National Army, okay, by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Actually, it was created by him, but originally the idea was given by Mohan Singh. It was created during Second World War, was the clearest manifestation of the linkages established between India and overseas. Actually, this INA, it is a link between India and other overseas countries. How? Because in this army, we found prisoners of war. All prisoners of war, they were collected together and formed into an army. So it is a link between Indian overseas Indians during the freedom struggle. The foreign policy of a nation. Now, very, very important. What is foreign policy? See, the foreign policy of a nation reflects the interplay of domestic and external factors. I mean, the foreign policy of any country, it reflects both domestic and external factors of a country. What I want to say here, the foreign policy of any country, it reflects the domestic as well as foreign factors. Suppose India, so India's domestic factors and India's external relations both are reflected in the foreign policy. So the foreign policy of a nation reflects the interplay of domestic and external factors. Therefore, the noble ideals that inspired India's struggle for freedom influenced the making of its foreign policy. I mean, on what basis we fought the freedom struggle? What are the ideals on the basis of which we fought for our independence? So, India's foreign policy is based upon the ideals of our freedom struggle. Okay, but India's attainment of independence coincided. I mean, when our country got independence, so India's independence was coincided with the beginning of Cold War era. The joke is, after Second World War in 1945, Cold War was started. The world was bipolarized. The world was divided into two rival blocks. And India got independence in 1947. So India's independence was, one way, was coincided with the Cold War era. As you read in the first chapter book, that is in Contemporary World Politics, that this period was marked by the political, economic and military confrontations at the global level between the two blocs led by the superpowers US and USSR. The same period also witnessed developments like the establishment of UN. You will also know that United Nations organization was created on 24th October 1945. So it was created during Cold War era only. And the creation of nuclear weapons. Similarly, the emergence of communist regimes in China, all these things they started during the Cold War era only. So all these things were started during Cold War era. Next. So India's leadership had to pursue its national interest within the prevailing international context. That's why India adopted non-alignment as our foreign policy. Now, Nehru's role. What is Nehru's role? So this is very, very important task. What is Nehru's role? So Nehru's role regarding India's foreign policy, we should study. Here he has given. I'm telling you, just a minute. Okay, just a minute. Yes. Explain Nehru's foreign policy. Explain Nehru's foreign policy, or we can say explain Nehru's role. Okay. You know who is Nehru? The first Prime Minister of India. The first Prime Minister of India was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He played a crucial role. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, or I can say the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, played a crucial role in setting up the national agenda. He was his own foreign minister. See the joke. He was his own foreign minister. Thus, both as the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister. I mean, he held both posts at the time. Foreign Minister post as well as Prime Minister post. So, thus, Both as Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, he exercised profound, strong influence in the formation and implementation of India's foreign policy from 1946 to 1964. Up to 1964, his era was there, Nehru's era was there, Nehru's rule was there. So from 1946 to 1964, Nehru's influence was there as a Prime Minister of interim government, and also as a Foreign Minister. The three major objectives of Nehru's foreign policy were number one, to preserve the hard-earned sovereignty. I mean, how to protect our independence. How to protect our independence. So the three major objectives of Nehru's foreign policy were to preserve the hard-earned sovereignty. Okay, similarly, protect territorial integrity, how to protect our country's borders, unity, and promote rapid economic development. These are the three main things of Nehru's foreign policy. One is how to protect our India's sovereignty, I mean independence, how to protect our territorial borders, integrity, and how to achieve rapid economic development in our country India. These are the three main things that are included in Nehru's foreign policy. Nehru wished to achieve these objectives through the strategy of non-alignment. And Nehru thought to achieve these three objectives, territorial integrity, protecting sovereignty, achieving rapid economic development in the country, all these three objectives can be easily achieved if we pursue that non-alignment policy. Okay, so there were of course parties and groups in the country that believed that India should be more friendly with the bloc led by US. Here what is said here? There were of course parties, many political parties were there and groups were there in the country that believed that India should be more friendly. India should be more friendly with the bloc led by US. Many people suggested that India should be more friendly with the US because that bloc claimed to be pro-democracy. Because here that USA is a democratic country and USSR is not a democratic country. There is a socialist and communist countries there. So many party leaders, many parties, many other people, okay, they claimed that it is better that India should be more friendly with the USA bloc because US is a democratic country. Among those who thought on these lines, those people who thought on these lines were leaders like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. It is B.R. Ambedkar, he said that it is better that India should make friendship with what? Or India should lean towards what? USA, because US is a democratic country. Some political leaders which were opposite to communism also wanted what? That India should join with what? US. Those who are against of communism, they also said that India should lean towards what? USA only. This included the Bharatiya Janasangh, through which our Bharatiya Janata Party was originated. So Bharatiya Janasangh is one of the political party that always says that what? We should join with what? US. We should do more friendship with what? US. Bharatiya Janasangh and later the Swatantrata Party. These two parties were there. We have studied in the previous lesson. But Nehru possessed considerable leeway in formulating the foreign policy. But Nehru was very clever. He listened to everybody, but he made his own independent foreign policy. Actually, many political parties, many leaders, they suggested that it is better that India should make friendship with what? US, because USA is a democratic country. But Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru what? Considerably leeway in formulating the foreign policy. Now, distance from two camps. How India maintained the distance between the two camps? Here camps is what? Two blocks. How India maintained the distance from the two camps? The foreign policy of independent India, I mean, our country got independence now, 1947. The foreign policy of independent India vigorously pursued the dream of peaceful world by advocating the policy of non-alignment. I repeat, the foreign policy of independent India vigorously pursued the dream of a peaceful world by advocating the policy of non-alignment. By reducing the Cold War tensions, India always tried to reduce the Cold War tensions, and by contributing human resources to the UN peacekeeping operations. That means India always worked for peace in the world. India always worked for establishing peace in the world. And to establish peace in the world, India always pursued an independent foreign policy, that is non-alignment. Moreover, whenever peace seems to be in danger, then India always supplied human resource to UN for peacekeeping operation. That means India supplied some of the soldiers. Actually, every country has to contribute some army for a certain period to work in the peacekeeping forces of UN. So India always supplied the Indian soldiers to work in the peacekeeping forces of UN. So here, India contributed human resource to the UN peacekeeping operations whenever the peace seems in danger, like Sudan, Egypt, etc. etc. You might ask why India did not join either of the two camps. Now your question is, why India, after getting independence, has not joined either USA or USSR? What were the possible reasons for this one? So why India has not joined either of the two blocks, either of the two camps, okay, during the Cold War era? Yes, India wanted to keep away from the military alliances. Actually, India wanted to keep herself away, okay, from the military alliances led by US and the Soviet Union. It wanted to keep herself aloof, okay, against each other. I repeat, India wanted to keep away from the military alliances or alliances led by US and Soviet Union against each other. As you have read in the book Contemporary World Politics, during the Cold War, the US led North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. NATO, tell me when NATO was formed? Yes, 1949. So when NATO was formed by US, at that time India should not become the member of NATO. Okay. So when US led North Atlantic Treaty Organization was formed, and also Soviet led Warsaw Pact was signed in 1955, then India was not the member of both the organizations. India advocated non-alignment. As the ideal foreign policy approach. India was a difficult balancing act, and sometimes the balance did not appear perfect. I mean, sometimes we lean towards USA because we are getting some economic aid from USA. When we are getting some economic aid from USA, then many countries thought that we are leaning towards what? USA. And when we followed some of the principles of USSR, then many countries criticized that we are leaning towards what? USSR. But India never joined either of the two camps. So this was difficult balancing act, and sometimes the balance did not appear perfect. In 1956, listen students very carefully. In 1956, okay, what happened? Just a minute. Just a minute. In 1956, okay, when Britain attacked Egypt. In 1956, when Britain attacked Egypt over the Suez Canal issues. Now the question is, where is Suez Canal? Suez Canal is located between Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea. It is located between Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea. Suez Canal is located between Red Sea and Mediterranean Sea. And here Britain attacked over Egypt over Suez Canal issue. At the time, India led the world protest against this neo-colonial invasion. when Britain attacked over Egypt on the issue of Suez Canal in 1956, at the time India criticized Britain. India criticized Britain regarding the neo-colonialism or neo-colonial invasion. I mean, the colonial country is attacking over Egypt. Similarly, but in the same year when the USSR invaded Hungary, when Britain attacked Egypt in 1956 over Suez Canal, India criticized Britain. At the same time, in the same year when USSR attacked Hungary, India did not join its public condemnation. At that time, India has not condemned USSR. So with this, what you will say? You will say that India is leaning towards what? USSR. Yes or no? When Britain attacked or Egypt or Suez Canal issue, then India condemned Britain, telling that neo-colonial invasion. In the same time, when USSR attacked over what? That Hungary, and then India remained silent. It has not condemned that one. Okay. Despite such situation, by and large, India did take an independent stand on various international issues. However, India always maintained an independent voice, independent judgment, independence of sovereignty. Okay, and get aid and assistance from number of members of the blocs, both blocs. India always pursued an independent foreign policy. India kept a stand of independent foreign policy. And at the same time, India maintained friendly relations with both the countries. It never leaned with any particular bloc or particular camp. It neither leaned towards USSR camp, it never leaned towards USA camp. It always maintained equal distance by both the camps or both the blocks. And from both the blocks, India always received what? The aid and help regularly. While India was trying to convince the other developing countries about the policy of non-alignment. That means India also tried what? To convince the foreign policy of India to other countries. India made understand what is our foreign policy, what is non-alignment, and it convinced other countries to adopt this foreign policy. Now, Pakistan joined the US-led army, US-led military alliance. Pakistan joined with which camp? Listen, today this is new concept for you. Pakistan country always joined the USA bloc. Okay. The US was not happy about India's independent initiatives and the policy of non-alignment. When India adopted the non-alignment foreign policy, at that time US was not happy with India's foreign policy. US was not happy. Therefore, there was a considerable unease in Indo-US relations. When we are following independent foreign policy, it was not liked by US. They thought that Pakistan joined with their bloc, but why India has not joined? Not the reason. So the relations between India and US to some extent were not ease in 1950s. In 1950s, the US also resented. The United States of America also resented, opposed India's growing partnership with the Soviet Union. India adopted some of the principles of USSR, that is 5-year plans. For example, India copied the 5-year plans concept from USSR. So when India adopted some of the policies of USSR, then India was condemned by USA that we are leaning towards what? That Soviet Union or USSR. But we are not leaned, just we took their help. But we have not joined in their bloc also. So USA criticized, resented India when India's partnership was growing towards what? USSR or Soviet Union. You have studied in the last chapter the strategy of planned economic development. I told planned economic development, we have studied about our 5-year plans. So this 5-year plans concept we have taken from what? USSR, Soviet Union. So you have studied in the last chapter the strategy of planned economic development adopted by India. This policy emphasized import substitution. Listen, this policy emphasized import substitution. You underline this one. This is very, very important. Import substitution. The emphasis on developing a resource base also meant that export-oriented growth was limited. This development strategy limited India's economic interaction with the outside world. Now coming to Afro-Asian unity. Afro means what? Africa. Asian means Asian countries. Unity. How African countries, how Asian countries, both became friends. How they developed unity among both the countries. How both continents and their countries they developed unity. Yet given its size, location, and power potential, Nehru emphasized a major role for India in world affairs and especially in Asian affairs. His era, Nehru's period, his era was marked by the establishment of contacts between India and other newly independent states in Asia and Africa. When Nehru became the Prime Minister of India, when he became the Foreign Minister of India, he always maintained friendly relationship with many African and Asian countries. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, Nehru had been an strong advocate of Asian unity. In 1940s and 1950s, Nehru he maintained relationship with many Asian African countries. He is the ardent, strong supporter of what? That unity of Asian countries. Under his leadership, under Nehru's leadership, India convened the Asian Relations Conference in March 1947. When Nehru was the Prime Minister of India, under his leadership, India organized Asian Relations Conference in March 1947, 5 months ahead of attaining its independence. Okay, 5 months ahead means before, or 5 months after 5 minutes. After 5 months of independence. After 5 months of independence, India made earnest efforts for early realization of freedom of Indonesia. India always helped in getting independence to Indonesia. See, what is said here? India made earnest efforts, all efforts for the early realization of freedom of Indonesia from the Dutch colonial rule. That means Indonesia was a colony of Dutch. So from the Dutch control, Indonesia got independence, and in that independence, India helped Indonesia. Okay. Convening an international conference in 1949 to support its freedom struggle. India supported freedom struggle in Indonesia in 1949. So Indonesia got independence with the support of India in 1949 from Dutch control. Next one, India was a staunch supporter of the decolonization. India always said that India will support all those colonial countries who are fighting for their independence. India will support to all the colonial countries who are fighting for their independence. So India always supported what? Decolonization process and firmly opposed racism. India also opposed what? Racism. India opposed racism, colonialism, fascism, imperialism, etc. Now, especially apartheid in South Africa. India opposed what? Apartheid policy, the racist regime in South Africa. India opposed the racist regime in South Africa. The Afro-Asian Conference, that is called Bandung Conference. The Afro-Asian Conference held in Indonesia city in Bandung in 1955. So the Bandung Conference, my dear children, actually Bandung is one of the place in Indonesia. Bandung is one of the place in Indonesia. A conference was held in Bandung in 1955, which is called Afro-Asian Conference, commonly known as Bandung Conference, marked the zenith of India's engagement with the newly independent Asian African nations. So in this conference, all Asian countries, all African countries, nearly 29 Asian African countries, they attended there, and they discussed the common problems faced by all those countries. All countries agreed that to help each other. They all agreed to fight against colonialism, racism, fascism, etc. The Bandung Conference later led to the establishment of NAM. And this Bandung Conference only further paved the way for what? The establishment of what? NAM. Non-alignment movement. The Bandung Conference only further helped in the establishment of what? NAM, non-alignment movement. The first summit of NAM, the first summit of non-alignment movement was held in Belgrade Okay, Belgrade, the capital of Yugoslavia. The first non-alignment movement summit meeting was held at Belgrade in September 1961. Very, very important. This will be asked. The first non-alignment movement meeting conference summit was held at Belgrade in 1961 September. Nehru was a co-founder of NAM. Nehru was one of the member of NAM. Nehru is one of the co-founder of NAM. Okay. Now, next topic is what? Peace and conflict China. That I told you. India had war with what? China in 1962. India had war with Pakistan 1965, 1971, etc. So, peace and conflict China. Sometimes our relations with China are friendly and sometimes they are what? Very bitter. So, why they were friendly and how they were bitter, that we will learn. And here you will also come across what? The Panchsheel Agreement. Unlike its relationship with Pakistan, not like the relationship with Pakistan, Free India began its relationship with China on a very friendly note. Our relationship with Pakistan was not good. But when India became independence, it began its relationship with China on a very friendly note. After the Chinese Revolution in 1949, 1st October 1949 is the day when China became People's Republic of China. China got independence. Okay, India was one of the first countries to recognize the communist government. When China became independence in 1949, and when China adopted the communist government in China, at that time India was the first country that recognized the communist government in China. Nehru felt strongly for this neighbor that was coming out of the shadow of Western domination. Nehru felt that this China is coming out. Earlier, China and USA also having friendly relations. Earlier, China and USA also having friendly relations. But now, China is coming out of the shadow of what? USA. So what is said here? Nehru felt strongly for this neighbor China that was coming out of the shadow of Western domination and helped the new government in international fora. Some of his colleagues like Vallabhbhai Patel, colleagues of Nehru, some of the colleagues of Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, were worried about a possible Chinese aggression in future. When Nehru is making friendship with China, at that time his friend or colleague Vallabhbhai Patel, they worried in future we may face problem with China, and that became true today. So we may have what? Aggression by China in future. But Nehru thought it was exceedingly unlikely. He thought ऐसा सोचना गलत है. It was exceedingly unlikely. ऐसा कभी हो नहीं सकता. It will not happen in future. He thought like that. That India will face an attack from China. Nehru never thought that India will face an attack from China. And he goes on making friendship. Though Vallabhbhai Patel said that we may face a future aggression, war with China. For a long time, the Chinese border was guarded by paramilitary forces. Indo-China border. For a long time, Indo-China border was guarded by the paramilitary forces, but not the army. The joint enunciation, establishment, the joint enunciation of Panchsheel. Both Panchsheel is one of the agreement that I told you. Panchsheel is one of the agreement that was signed between India and China in 1954, 29th April 1954. 29th April 1954 was the day in 1954 when Panchsheel agreement was signed between India and China by both the Prime Ministers of India and China. At the time, our Indian Prime Minister was Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and the Prime Minister of China was Zhou Enlai. It's called Prime Minister or Premier. So the joint enunciation of Panchsheel, the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence. Panchsheel, in this Panchsheel agreement, there are 5 principles are there. And both the countries agreed to respect these 5 principles. The joint enunciation of Panchsheel, the 5 principles of peaceful coexistence by the Indian Prime Minister Nehru and the Chinese Premier Zhou Enlai on 29th April 1954 was set up in the direction of strong relationship between the two countries. We thought that our relations will become more stronger with this agreement. Indian and Chinese leaders visited each other countries. Nehru went to China and Chinese Prime Minister came to India and were greeted by large and friendly crowds. And people said that one slogan, Indi Chini bye bye. They said that Indi Chini bye bye. Our Prime Minister went to China. China Prime Minister came to India. So both greeted each other, both welcomed each other, and we said Indo-China bye bye, like this we said. So this is friendly relations, and both the 5 principles: territorial integrity, non-aggression, okay, exchange of culture, all these things we have studied, 5 principles. So these 5 principles we maintain. These are friendly relations, but at the same time we had conflicts with China also. Why do we have conflict with China? What is the reason? The main reason is what? Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama, the Buddhist religious leader who belongs to Tibet, he took a shelter in our country, India. India gave shelter to that person. When India gave shelter to that person, then China got angry on India. China got angry on India and it disrespected that Indo-China, that borderline also McMahon line, and we had war with China in 1962. That we will read in the coming period. Okay, students. Thank you. Please read the textbook once for better understanding. Thank you.